Beautiful is the story of Carole King. It's a kind of about how she broke into the music industry and became this sort of iconic music person from an album called Tapestry that I think many of us of a certain age are quite familiar with. And I think a lot of people who maybe aren't familiar with her will be the minute they hear the music, because the immediate response is always, she wrote that? You will hear songs that are very familiar beyond from her album as a singer-songwriter. She wrote for classic groups, the Drifters, the Shirelles of the 50s and 60s, and it's kind of amazing to see the scope of the things that she was a part of. I think she talks in a woman's voice, and sometimes, music written by men is not in a woman's voice because it's a different perspective. And it was part of a breakthrough generation of music, Carly Simon, Joan Baez, that really speaks still to women. There's so many angles of the story that are really exciting. One is just the creation of art. As a theater maker, I love stories about how people went on their journey to become an artist. And she was 16 when she was first published. It's crazy. And so that's exciting, but it's also a story of struggle and of failed relationships and challenges. It's a story of a woman hitting the glass ceiling, maybe, or maybe not, maybe breaking it, and friendships. I just love that there are so many different components to it, and it is based on a real story, so it's not like it doesn't happen that way. It does happen that way. So Pioneer Theatre Company is the professional theater in Salt Lake City, like Geva is here in Rochester. And so co-productions are a wonderful way for theaters to partner together, to share resources and expenses, of course, but also to bring productions from one theater to another. And we both wanted to do Beautiful, and I talked to Elizabeth, and we said, let's do it. So it's been exciting. It's been fun. Lots of phone calls and emails back and forth between the two organizations, because it is really about sharing and co-producing the production. There are some cast changes, and the configuration of the stage here is a little different. The set is the same pieces. It just is going to look a little bit different, but it's the spirit of the same show, and the same creative team is coming together to put it back up here. So if the response here is like in Salt Lake City, we're home free. Listen, live theater in particular, because that's my passion, there is nothing like it. There's nothing like the experience of being in a room with 200 or 500 or 1,000 other people watching live people create something that only will be experienced by those people that night. And without support, live theater's struggling. It is a really, really tough time for our organizations. The expenses are outweighing the revenues, and we need some help. If it goes away, there's going to be a piece of art that is gone.
Why should people in Rochester come see Beautiful?
Oh, because it's a good time. It's a good time. You want to hear a great story, hear great music, hear wonderful voices. You'll have that unique experience of, I didn't know that, and oh my gosh, this is so cool. So come see Beautiful.
I've been listening to Carole King since I was a little girl, so her music is in my bones, and I know that this is going to sound so cheesy, but her music is like a weighted blanket for me. It's my chicken soup for the soul. So it's just something that I feel like I've always kind of lived and breathed in the sense of I hear that first and it's just like, so anyway, so it's nice to have the music just resonate and just know her music in general. And then, I watch a lot of interviews. I've read her book. I've listened to her book because she says it. She's reading it on the audiobook. So you can hear the timbre of her voice, and she'll be telling a story, and she'll kind of do what she thinks her mom sounds like, which is really interesting because she'll tell stories of her and Jerry Goffin, or her and her mom, or her and her friend, and she'll use what she hears them as their voice in the story. So you kind of get a feel for just her relationship to them through her perspective and through her brain. And I mean, I basically wake up and go to sleep to her audiobook. I know that sounds, but I love it. It kind of it gets me in the mindset. But I feel like Carole King at her core, she's leads with empathy and compassion, and she listens to understand. And so I try to get into, I mean, I relate. I feel like I try to do that too. And I think it's something where I'm not going to sound like her because I'm not her. And I don't necessarily need to or want to just imitate her. That's not what it's about. I just want, if the audience is there, maybe they close their eyes for a second, I just want to encapsulate her essence and her soul and her spirit and her energy, and bring back whatever those songs maybe, did for the audience members. If it was, me and my mom dancing in the kitchen to I Feel the Earth Move. Like, I want to bring those memories up. And I want people to be able to close their eyes and think of a time when, oh, that song got me through this, or what have you. I just want to basically encapsulate her essence.
If she was sitting across the table from you right now, what would you say to her?
Hi. I don't know. So many things. What did you eat today? I just feel like I know what I would say. I think I would say, if you could go back and tell your 16-year-old self just one thing, what would it be? Because I feel like the retrospect, that's where we learn, and I would love to just know where she's at and know kind of where she was at when she was, say, 16, and that's a part of who I'm, a part of her, of the representation in the show. I mean, she goes from 16 to her 30s, and I would like to know kind of what she would say to that little Carole.
What is the message of Beautiful? What's the theme?
I mean, it's in the title. She says this in her book. I'm not going to quote it verbatim because I'll probably mess it up, but she basically says that it doesn't matter where you're at, what you look like, if you're weird, if you're this, if you're that, you are beautiful inside, and she just wants everyone to feel that, and I think she wants herself to feel that most importantly. And when you do this show, it's kind of hard not to. It's such a good arc, it's such a good journey, and then you're sitting there and you're just like, bah, you've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face. Like, that's a really good mantra to live by. Anyone can relate to this. It tells the story of a woman that is so relatable and goes through things that you and I both go through. And you hear those, like, oh, stars go to the grocery stores just like us. It's like it normalizes her, and it's relatable in a sense of there's relationship struggles with herself, and the journey to her finding, pun intended, a beautiful relationship with herself is really special, because I feel like we're all on that journey. Maybe I am. I feel like we all want to feel heard and want to feel seen, and if we can hear ourselves and see ourselves, then that's a good day for me. And I feel like that is what this show is about, and I feel like everyone would relate to that and would want the same.